David Carter, a 52-year-old accomplished Black entrepreneur, had spent years building his restaurant chain, Urban Flavors, from the ground up in New York City. Known for his sharp business sense and relentless dedication, David watched as his vision transformed into a celebrated brand across the city, renowned for its quality and hospitality. With his business flourishing, he decided to expand by opening a new upscale location in a prime neighborhood. After hiring a full team and ensuring the establishment was ready to operate smoothly, David had to leave for England on an urgent 6-month business trip. Confident in the team he had put in place, he departed, expecting the new location to thrive and uphold the values that had built his success. When David Carter returned from his 6-month business trip to England, he anticipated positive reports about the new Urban Flavors location. However, the feedback he received was deeply troubling. Employees described a toxic work environment where senior staff, including managers and head chefs, routinely mistreated junior team members. Dishwashers, servers, and other lower-ranked employees were subjected to condescending remarks, rude behavior, and blatant disrespect. Reports of favoritism and lack of accountability among senior staff further compounded the issue. David, who had always prided himself on fostering a respectful and inclusive workplace, was both disappointed and frustrated to learn that the core values of his restaurant chain were being undermined. Determined to uncover the truth, he decided to investigate the situation personally. Determined to uncover the truth about the toxic culture at Urban Flavors, David Carter decided to go undercover as a dishwasher. Trading his polished appearance for a plain uniform, an oversized gray shirt, simple pants, and a low cap to obscure his face, he blended into the kitchen staff without revealing his identity. From this vantage point, David quietly observed the day-to-day interactions among the team. What he saw was both frustrating and eye-opening. The head chef, Graham Mitchell, dismissed the efforts of a young black female server with blatant disrespect. After she had meticulously cleaned a countertop, Graham deliberately placed a greasy tray on it, sneering, "You missed a spot." Despite her excellent work, the server apologized meekly, her head bowed. Meanwhile, Claire Reynolds, the restaurant manager, directed her disdain toward David himself. With a cold and dismissive tone, she ordered him to keep washing dishes and tossed a used napkin onto the floor near him. When David bent to retrieve it, she mockingly kicked it further away, saying, "Better hurry up, you're here to clean, right?" The behavior David witnessed revealed a troubling culture of arrogance and contempt, making it clear that immediate action was necessary. As David Carter continued his undercover investigation at Urban Flavors, he grew increasingly disturbed by the toxic culture permeating the restaurant. He observed that mistreatment of lower-rank employees, such as dishwashers and servers, was not only common but also normalized. Senior staff members displayed condescending attitudes, and their inappropriate behavior went largely unchallenged. Most employees either tolerated the mistreatment in silence or pretended not to notice, creating an environment where disrespect flourished unchecked. Determined to gain further insight, David decided to expand his undercover role. This time, he dressed as a delivery worker, donning a plain uniform and pushing a cart of supplies. He chose this disguise to interact with the restaurant's senior staff during one of their private meetings. His plan was to witness how they treated someone they perceived as an outsider. With his head lowered and demeanor humble, he entered the conference room, where the managers, including Claire Reynolds and Graham Mitchell, were holding their regular afternoon discussion. As soon as David entered, the lively conversation among the managers came to an abrupt halt. All eyes turned to him, their expressions a mix of irritation and mild curiosity. Graham, the head chef, was the first to react. His face twisted with annoyance as he snapped, "What's going on here? Why are you interrupting our meeting?" Remaining calm, David politely replied, I'm here to drop off the supplies, keeping his tone neutral and unassuming. Graham, however, was unimpressed. He squinted at David, his sneer growing more pronounced. "This is a private space," he said dismissively. "You're not supposed to just walk in here whenever you feel like it." The room's tension thickened as David began unloading the supplies. Claire leaned back in her chair, her gaze filled with faint amusement. "Bring them here, then," she said lazily, waving her hand in a dismissive gesture. As David approached, Claire added in a syrupy, mocking tone, "Careful now, people would line up for a job as glamorous as yours." Her comment drew chuckles from the other managers. Graham joined in, smirking as he added, "She's right, not everyone has what it takes to be a delivery guy." His words were met with laughter, reinforcing the sense of superiority that permeated the room. David stood quietly, absorbing the disdainful atmosphere. The managers treated him as if he were invisible, an insignificant presence whose sole purpose was to serve and then disappear. The room's toxic dynamic revealed how deeply ingrained the culture of arrogance and contempt had become. David left the meeting more convinced than ever that immediate action was required. He had witnessed not just individual instances of disrespect, but a systemic problem that undermined the values upon which Urban Flavors had been built. The behavior of the senior staff reflected a troubling lack of accountability, and their open mockery of those they deemed inferior demonstrated the need for a complete cultural overhaul. Determined to restore respect, fairness, and professionalism to his establishment, David knew he had to confront his management team and implement significant changes. What he had seen was unacceptable, and he resolved to ensure that Urban Flavors became a workplace where every employee, regardless of their position, was treated with dignity and respect. David Carter, deeply troubled by the toxic behavior he had witnessed, decided it was time to address the issue directly. He called an emergency meeting with all senior staff and managers at Urban Flavors, leaving them puzzled about the sudden summons. As the team gathered in the meeting room, exchanging uncertain glances, the door swung open and David entered, this time in his usual polished attire. The room fell silent as his commanding presence drew everyone's attention. Graham, the head chef, still unaware of David's true identity, sneered. "What are you doing here? Lost again?" Ignoring the remark, David walked confidently to the head of the table and took his seat. "I'm David Carter," he began, locking eyes with each manager. "The owner of Urban Flavors." The managers were stunned into silence, their expressions shifting from confusion to disbelief as the realization set in. The dishwasher and delivery worker they had mocked was their boss. David Carter addressed the stunned group of managers with calm authority, his voice steady but firm. "Yesterday, I disguised myself as both a dishwasher and a delivery worker," he began, his gaze unwavering. "I wanted to see firsthand how this team operates, and I witnessed things that deeply disappointed me." The room remained silent as David continued, recounting the disrespect and mistreatment he had observed. His tone grew sharper as he looked directly at Graham and Claire, the head chef and manager who had been the worst offenders. "Some of you treated those you perceived as beneath you with contempt and arrogance. What you didn't realize is that the person you were looking down on was me." The color drained from Graham's face, and Claire averted her eyes as David pressed on. "This is not the culture I built Urban Flavors on. Respect and fairness are non-negotiable values here, and the behavior I witness will not be tolerated. Starting today, we will reform this workplace into one where every employee is valued, no matter their role. David's voice carried conviction as he issued a clear ultimatum. If you cannot align with these principles of respect and fairness, you will have no place here. His words left the room heavy with tension, the managers fully aware that change was inevitable. David Carter, standing before his team, made a heartfelt vow to transform the culture at Urban Flavors. He emphasized the need for a workplace where every employee, regardless of their role, is treated with dignity and respect. This restaurant was built on values of fairness and collaboration, he stated firmly. Everyone here deserves to feel valued, from the servers to the dishwashers to the managers. David challenged his team to reflect on their actions and commit to positive change. He outlined his vision for Urban Flavors to become a model of respect, compassion, and community contribution, a place where employees not only worked, but felt proud to be part of a supportive environment. Our success isn't just about great food, it's about building a culture where everyone's efforts are recognized and appreciated, he said. Ending on a note of determination, David made it clear that this new standard would be non-negotiable. Together, we can rebuild this workplace into something extraordinary, but it starts with respect and accountability from every single one of us. The video concludes with a powerful message about the transformative impact of respect and kindness in everyday interactions. It emphasizes that treating others with dignity, regardless of their position or background, creates a positive environment for everyone. The story of David Carter serves as a reminder that respect is not a privilege reserved for a few, but a right owed to all. Viewers are encouraged to reflect on their own actions and consider how they can uplift those around them in both their personal and professional lives. The video underscores the importance of fostering empathy and compassion, highlighting how small acts of kindness can inspire change and strengthen communities. The narrator calls on the audience to carry this lesson forward by spreading positivity and supporting those who may feel overlooked or undervalued. By making respect and kindness a priority, we can build a more inclusive and supportive society. The video closes with an invitation to like, share, and subscribe, encouraging viewers to join the mission of inspiring positive change through stories that truly matter.